Hello, this is Excalibur of Excalibur Zone Gaming, and today I have my deck tech for Bruna, Light of Alabaster. Those who may not know, Bruna is an angel, a legendary creature that is 2 white, a blue, and 3 of any others, 3 colorless. Whenever she attacks or blocks, I can attach to her any number of auras on the battlefield, and I may put onto the battlefield, attached to it, any number of aura cards that could enchant it from my graveyard and or hand. What that means is if anybody else has any type of auras on the field, enchanting their creatures, making them better, that kind of thing, I can steal those and put them on Bruna whenever she attacks or blocks. And it's a May ability, so I can skip things like Darksteel Mutation or Pacifism, that kind of stuff. Also, any enchantments that I have in hand, any enchantment auras I have in my hand, and any that are in my graveyard are also able to come out and go onto her. So when people mill me or cause me to discard cards, it really doesn't matter in this deck because Bruna will be able to utilize the auras in any of those zones. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to minimize this so we can see more of the cards. As always, I am using Magic Assistant, and you can see that we have a bunch of cards here. There are 99. Basic lands. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the deck list here. I think it's this one. There we go. Nope, that's the search. The deck list is over here then. One of these. One of these. I'll find it. Oh, there. It's right here. Sorry, I am extremely exhausted. My wife is finally home from a trip, and I am just relieved and happy that she's here. And I thought I'd get some recording out of the way while I could. In my deck, I've got 10 plains and 9 islands. Just so that you're aware, let's sort that by name. 10 plains and 9 islands, and the rest are singleton. As you can see, 100 cards. The goal of this deck was to ship enchantments, enchantment as much as possible, and also put in things to slow down my opponents. So to that end, we're going to start with convert mana cost 1 and just go up from there. As you can see, we've got a pretty decent bell curve going on with 3 and 4 taking up the majority of the slots, and then we've got some pretty big folks over here in the 7 and 8 slots. I believe that's what they are. Well, first off, we have Condemn. So, unfortunately, it's a target effect, but since it's a target effect, I can deal with that fine, so long as there are no, like, hexproof or protection kind of things from white. So I can put those Eldrazi up on top of their owner's library, or on the bottom, sorry, on the bottom, and this causes issues with their plans. Well, and they get some extra life, so I don't really feel bad about using it. It helps them out a little bit. It's sort of a political card, but it keeps big baddies off the table, like Kalia or maybe Kozilek or whatever. Instead of having their graveyard shuffled right back in, you know exactly where Kozilek is, and you can then do other things with their library if you have that capability. This is all about enchantments for the most part. And to that end, Ethereal Armor is one of the big cards. Gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. It goes hand in hand with nearly all the cards and a 5-cost card that we'll get to Enchanted Evening later. Hyena Umbra is put in there mainly for the totem armor. It's a great way to protect Bruna from being destroyed. That's the main thing it's in there. It's also a low casting cost, which makes it very easy for me to go ahead and get it back out there. I tend to get mana screwed quite often, even with the amount of land I have. Land tax, and let's go ahead and take a look here. We'll look at the types. We have land at 39%. That's 39 lands. That's one shy of your average of 40. So I have land tax in here, so in case anybody has more land than me, in most cases they do. They have more land than I do. I'm just going to slide these cards over so that I can put more cards down here. And land tax comes out. I was thinking about putting Scroll Rack in so that all this land I have in my hand could be swapped for card draw, but I'm trying to find space for it, and for a lot of new cards that have just come out with Cons of Tarkir that I really want to put in there. So we'll just continue on with what this is doing. Spirit Link is a great way to give my general lifelink. It's also another great way to completely and utterly neuter cards like Nekusar, who does a point of damage every time you draw a card. So he does a point of damage to me, and then I gain that much life. He does damage to everybody as I draw, and I'm gaining that much life. That's awesome. You put that on Kozilek or on It That Betrays, and you're gaining life based on how much you're attacking with. So it tends to act as a neuter card more than anything, and when it comes down to it, I can use it and put it on Bruna. And I can still move this around. You'll see that in a little bit. Soul Ring is a stock standard card, which I'm just going to plop up here because that is so standard in EDH. If you don't have one, you need to go get one. This is the Commander version. They also printed them in Commander 2012. Well, not Commander 2012. It's the last set, 2013 or 2014. The last set that they have that has this symbol here. So tapping to add 2 to your mana pool. Perfect ramp for a deck that has very little of it. Darksteel Mutation. Now this card is used to neuter your opponent. Sure, it gives them an indestructible blocker, but it stops all those activated abilities, all those trigger abilities, and all those static abilities like with Dahlia and stuff like that. So Darksteel Mutation is awesome. Greater Auramancy is used to completely and utterly protect every single one of my enchantments except for it and all of my enchanted creatures. There is a way that I can turn this and get this completely protected as well. We'll discuss that later on. Core Spirit Dancer is a creature that, like Bruna, takes advantage of auras. However, Core Spirit Dancer has a cantrip attached, so whenever I cast an aura, I draw a card, and she gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to her. She can get really big really quick, even though she's a 0/2 for 2. Ordeal of Heliod. Now, every time you get 3 or more counters on Bruna, this thing is going to get sacrificed. But the next time you block her attack, it comes out of the graveyard and goes right back on her. So you get that 10 life over and over and over and over again. All the ordeals, and I did have the Ordeal of Thassa in here, but I got rid of it for other cards that let you draw 2 cards every time it went in the graveyard. The combination tends to come up far less than you would think, and having the one that keeps you alive longer is the one I preferred. Peace and Quiet is an instant. It's not a sorcery. Destroy 2 target enchantments. Get rid of those things that are giving your opponents Shroud or Haste or whatever. Also with Enchanted Evening, that is removal of everything on the board that you want. Spirit Mantle is a way to make Bruna completely unblockable by creatures. So an opposing Bruna cannot block a Bruna with this and steal this enchantment. However, we've got to find a way to keep the enchantments from falling into imposter Bruna's hands. Lightning Greaves, it's like our auras, but equipment. It gives any of the creatures haste and equip 0, so we can get things out there fast and start attacking. It also enables Bruna to attack and become shrouded immediately. Now, Shroud does not affect her ability, because if we take a look here, it does not say target. They just attach to her. So when her ability kicks off, she is like a magnet, and all auras immediately can go to her. Alright, the second creature is Aven Mindcensor. He is in there strictly to slow everyone down. Nothing else. He can be cast as Flash, which I have to work on my, Flash casting. But it just keeps people from searching for their combo pieces and going off early. That is his main function. Godsend is a piece of equipment from Journey into Nyx that is too good to pass up. Inexpensive, and it gives a way to keep generals from being cast again. So if you can get this on Bruna and block with it, then block with Bruna, then not only do you suck up the auras, but you also keep the person from bringing their general back, or any other creatures. So, and it's awesome. So if you're facing against two green decks and they have the same things, you can keep that woodland, oh man, what is it? Woodland Primordial, or similar cards that destroy when they come into the battlefield. Block with it, kill it off, exile it, and it doesn't get its trigger of Undying or anything like that, or Persist. So Godsend is a great way to control the board. Heliod's Pilgrim is the least expensive of my tutor cards. It allows me to go in and find any aura I want, reveal it, and then put it into my hand, which is then ready for Bruna to use or to cast. And Aven Mindcensor is opponent, so my tutoring is not affected. Nomad Mythmaker. He is a creature that allows me to put any aura in a graveyard into play attached to a creature I control. So your opposing Bruna gets rid of all of her enchantments. Nah, all of her auras, you can just go ahead for a white and a tap and bring any enchantment you want, any aura you want, out and attach it to Bruna or another creature. So you can get an Eldrazi Conscription added to somebody and then start annihilating people's boards. Umbra Mystic is a great way to protect all of your creatures. It turns all auras into totem armor. So if a destruction spell comes up, the aura is discarded instead of the creature, and in the case of Bruna, you get rid of one of the auras and then you can attack and get that back. Charisma. This is an awesome card because you can just block and take control of a creature. That's it. Block it, take control. Block it, take control. If you got like Spectral Ward on something where it's protected from that creature, then it's a lot easier to do. Polymorphous Chest is an instant that is used with one creature, Elshnorn, to completely annihilate an opponent's board. So if they have a lot of creatures and you've got Elshnorn out and those creatures can get past the Polymorphous Chest, past her -2/-2 ability, Polymorphous Chest kills their board because all their stuff suddenly becomes 1/1 frogs. Rhystic Study is a enchantment that allows me to draw more cards. So whenever anybody plays a spell, which is almost every turn, unless they pay 1, I can draw a card. Nekusar people are going to be happy with that unless I have Spirit Link out, but for the most part, this is a really good card and most people just let you draw. Thassa is a creature and an enchantment, and we're pretty much familiar with her. It gives me Scry at my upkeep, and I can make Bruna unblockable. It's also indestructible, which is very important, and can turn into a creature when I have enough blue out. Steal the Godhead is perfect for this deck since Bruna is blue and white. This gives +1/+1 lifelink and +1/+1 unblockable to Bruna. Detention Sphere is an awesome enchantment, and it's just a great way to completely and utterly get rid of those big bad things that you don't want, that are not generals. So for instance, they have It That Betrays, you cast Detention Sphere, It That Betrays, it goes away, and all other copies of It That Betrays, all other Eldrazi, that kind of stuff. Well, Fieldmist Borderpost is an awesome mana rock. You can pay 1 mana and bring a basic land to your hand, to its owner's hand, and then you can put that out. Instead of paying 3, you can pay 1 and technically 2, and then it's got your mana fixing. Chromatic Lantern turns all my lands, all of them, into mana producers. Scuttlemutt is an artifact creature that gives us mana fixing and changes creatures to color. So somebody gets out, say Kozilek, and then they cast the Friction, All Is Dust, I think it is, the Friction sorcery that kills it. You can you can turn Kozilek into a colored creature, and it is also destroyed. The Sword of Feast and Famine is an awesome card that gives pro green and black and +2/+2, but the main thing is you cause the player to discard a card and you untap all your lands. So you play Bruna and then you tap and then you play something big as well that might give haste, like maybe a Lightning Greaves or something, and then you can go ahead and attack with her next turn, or put a Shroud item on her. Indestructibility, it enchants a permanent, so it can go on anything. Mostly it goes on Greater Auramancy, because that way it's hard to get rid of it. Kitsune Mystic, that is an awesome card. First off, you put 2 enchantments on it, put 2 of the 1-casters on it. It flips and it becomes a legendary creature, Fox Wizard, Autumn Tail, Kitsune Sage. And for 1, you can move an enchantment, enchanting a creature to another creature. So you have this guy out, and somebody attacks you with their Eldrazi Conscripted, infect Bruna, and for 1, you move the Eldrazi Conscription to your Bruna. For another, you then move their infect to a creature they're not attacking with, or to another person's creature, and they go, oh, and the guy gains control of that creature. So you can get a creature out of the way. But the best thing is you can use this to move any aura that you've grabbed from a lower creature, or from Bruna to a lower creature, or to a lower creature to Bruna. Doesn't matter. This is an awesome card, and there's only 1 like it in the entire game that I can find. Light Minefield is for those token decks. So whenever 1 or more creatures attack, Light Minefield deals damage to each of those creatures equal to the number of attacking creatures. So it kills lots of token rush decks. And also, if you have a creature with Death Touch, unfortunately this doesn't do it, because Light Minefield does the damage. But if you could give it Death Touch, then any creatures that attack will immediately die. That's an awesome thing. Martial Law is another one of those neuter cards, so that you can detain target creatures. They can't activate their abilities, and they can't attack or block. Mirror Strike. This is a card that is close to my heart. Somebody hits you with a 20/20 Bruna or any creature with 20/20 and infect. Well, you just immediately turn that damage around on its controller and don't have to worry about it anymore, because he just committed suicide. Opalescence. This is part of a combo. Opalescence plus Enchanted Evening. Each other global enchantment, that means enchantment like Thassa or Light Minefield or whatever, becomes a creature with power and toughness, each equal to its converted mana cost. And it's still an enchantment. So this guy doesn't become a creature, but everything else does, including lands. And with Enchanted Evening out, all permanents are enchantments in addition to their other types. Doing this with these 2, 1, it kills any type of Shroud equipment, any type of hexproof equipment, any type of swords, any type of anything. They cannot be equipped because they're now creatures. It kills all land, unless I have Elshnoran Grand Cenobite out, who gives all my lands +2/+2. It just does a lot of stuff. It turns Thassa into a creature that's a 3/3 indestructible. And this, an Enchanted Evening, overrides her ability. Our Thief is an illusion creature that is put in here strictly for use with Enchanted Evening. and other cards. Like if somebody has control magic cards, like Corrupted Conscience or anything, Aura Thief makes me the controller. So if somebody has Corrupted Conscience on their Bruna or other big creature, I now control that creature. That's a big, big, big thing there. Frozen Æther, that makes all creatures, lands, and artifacts come into play tapped that my opponents control. It's a Kismet in blue, and I really, really love this card. It's a great way to slow down the game and let you get your board state set up while everybody else is suffering. It's helped me in many games because it's stopped really aggressive decks from taking out the other players, so people keep me around as long as this is out, even if it's irritating. Eventually I get wiped out, or they try to, but for the most part, Frozen Æther is a great time saver. Leyline of Anticipation. This thing is a beast. If it's in my hand right off the bat, everything is flash. If I can get it cast during the game, then everything is flash, and I can put Bruna out on the turn right before mine and attack and possibly kill somebody. That's how it works. It's really fast. It's awesome. Venser, Shaper Savant. I don't have a lot of counter spells, but this guy, he does it. Somebody casts a counter spell on one of my spells, I cast Venser and bounce my spell to my hand, and their counter spell fizzles, and then I can cast that spell again. Or I can put a permanent back to its owner's hand. So if somebody takes control of Bruna, I can cast him and then put Bruna into my hand. Really awesome. Grand Arbiter, Augustine. Oh, and he's a creature. He's not an enchantment. The Grand Arbiter, Augustine the IV, is in here because this allows me to get Bruna out around turn 3. Maybe turn 4. Probably turn 4, but sometimes on turn 3 I can get her out if he's there, because this guy makes Bruna cost 4 instead of 6. So if I can get, well, it's got to be about, let's see here, yep, it's turn 3. So if I can get the Soul Ring, a plane, and an island out, I can cast her turn 3. Sometimes I could possibly cast her turn 2 if I've got the Fieldmist Borderpost out in play. Supreme Verdict is one of the only sorceries I have. It is, of course, an uncounterable Wrath of God. That's only 4. So I have that in there because it's necessary. The Quicksilver Amulet is an artifact that allows me to get my bigger creatures into play for 4. And also my smaller creatures if I'm running into mana issues. I can bring them out if I have 4 mana, even if it's not the same mana. This also lets me get Thassa out if I only have white mana and no blue. Silent Arbiter is an artifact creature that is great for any type of Voltron deck. A Voltron deck, of course, is where you have one creature that's doing most of the work. Silent Arbiter allows me to force that on everybody, and it also keeps only one blocker available, so they can't, if I have an Intimidate out, I don't have to worry about it because that creature becomes unblockable. Spectral Ward is an awesome aura for protection, protected from all colors, and gets +2/+2. Also, this does not affect auras. So if Bruna gets more auras added on, boom. Well, actually it says can't be blocked, targeted, or dealt damage by anything that's white, blue, black, red, or green. So since Bruna's effect is not a target effect, auras come on and they don't fall off because this doesn't stop the enchanted auras. But people trying to cast auras on my stuff, if they have Spectral Ward on, can't be targeted and therefore can't be enchanted by them. But this immediately says that they can be enchanted so long as the enchantments can get on one way or another. Sphere of Safety. There are so many enchantments, and with Enchanted Evening I have a bunch of them. About 90 enchantments. where the number of enchantments I have, controller has to pay X for each of those enchantments in order to attack me with one creature. So this is a really nice way to slow down the board. 3 Dreams is one of my tutors. It's a very handy card to get 3 enchantments. I can get my Corrupted Conscience, my Eldrazi Conscription, and Spectra Ward into play, well, into my hand for Bruna, and make sure that she kills when I attack with her next. 3 Dreams is the combo card that lets me get it. You have to counter this, otherwise there will be issues. Totem Guide Heartbeast is an Aura tutor as well, and this is awesome as well. I've tried to put as many of these guys in as possible. Winds of Wrath is a Wrath of God for non-enchanted creatures. So I'm playing with all these enchantments. Most of my creatures are going to be protected when I cast Winds of Wrath. Corrupted Conscience has so many uses. 1, it gives the creature that you're controlling infect. You take control of a creature. You can take control of Kozilek or Ulamog or It That Betrays or any other number of creatures and just start smacking with it. Excuse me. It's really, really powerful. It's a really good card. Not to mention that if somebody mistakenly takes your Corrupted Conscience when they attack with Bruna, you gain control of their Bruna. Enchanted Evening is the granddaddy of everything here. Bruna and Enchanted Evening are so hand in hand, it is ridiculous. I mean, it could go with any other enchantment based deck, but with the amount of enchantments I want in this deck, Enchanted Evening makes it even better because all my permanents and everybody else's permanents are suddenly enchantments. And that means Planeswalkers can be targeted with kill spells that are enchantment based, so you don't have to worry about certain things. So, what is it? Peace and Quiet. Get rid of 2 Planeswalkers. Awesome, because most Planeswalkers are not indestructible. The Auratouched Mage is an awesome tutor because the aura goes onto him, and therefore, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. He can suddenly start attacking and be really powerful in and of himself. Games have been won with him. Celestial Mantle is off the hook crazy. That's all I can say about it. +3/+3, and my life total doubles every time I do combat damage to a player. More often than not, I am unblockable, and I've got Bruna, so I end up killing it. True Conviction is in here for the double strike. And lifelink is helpful too, but having a 7/7 Bruna with Infect, or an 8/8, I think she is with Corrupted Conscience. I think. Nope, it'd be 5/5 Infect. So double strike in most venues will kill an opponent. In the places I play, it's house ruled to 15 instead of 10. So I have to have something else on her, and Eldrazi Conscription generally does it. But with Eldrazi Conscription plus Bruna and double strike, bam, 30 points of commander damage right in your face. Of course, there's Bruna the General. We talked about her. Sovereigns of Lost Alara is an awesome card. It is a tutor. Every attack, when you attack alone, the Exalted is awesome. And whenever you attack, a creature attacks alone, I tutor for an aura and put it on that creature. So if I don't have my combos and this guy's out, bam, 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 everything suddenly becomes deadly. Boonweaver Giant is one of the M15 cards that I picked up, and he allows me to search my hand, my graveyard, and my library for any aura and put it on him. So I get out my combos as well. Chancellor of the Annex. She's one of those reveal at the beginning of the game cards, and if you do, spells are going to be countered. The very first spell that anybody casts is going to be countered unless they pay 1, and then whenever an opponent casts a spell, counter it unless that player pays 1. Her plus Quicksilver Amulet is pretty much an instant counterspell, and then a continual counterspell that's always on the board. Great way to slow down the game and start controlling everything. Elshnorn, Grand Cenobite. What can I say? She gives you +2/+2 to all your creatures, and then -2/-2 to everybody else's. So she makes sure that those tokens stay off the board and don't cause issues. Akroma's Memorial is one of those all-around, hey, if you have this out in play, you're going to be killing people thing. First off, flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from black and red. So you get pro-black, pro-red, two of the higher removal and burn decks around. White is there too, with like Winds of Wrath and such. But that's why I have my Totem Armor stuff. Akroma's Memorial allows Bruna to come into play and boom, immediately start attacking. With the ramp I do have, this is pretty awesome to get out quickly. Avacyn, Angel of Hope, she is so powerful. She goes up here with Bruna. Flying, vigilance, and all my permanents are indestructible. That's it. All my permanents are indestructible. So, Winds of Wrath, Wrath of God, anything outside of exile everything, or sacrifice everything, she takes care of that. Once she hits the board, most people scoop, or they find ways to get rid of her by exiling with targeting. But if she's enchanted and I've got my if she's enchanted and I've got Greater Auramancy out, then she will not be able to be targeted. Eldrazi Conscription is one of the combo pieces here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. For 8, 10, 10, and Annihilator 2. So you start destroying everybody's base if you cast it directly, then attack. But when she attacks, the Annihilator 2 doesn't kick off because you've already declared her an attacker. But +10/+10 with her 5/5, that's 15 damage. And there are many ways to boost that up to commander damage, and good game right there. Platinum Empyrean is one of those cards that I wanted in there. Your life total can't change. So even though I've got lifelink in here and stuff like that, people can't kill me through life. Infect is there. That happens. There's nothing more we can do about that. And I'm trying to see if I can get my lands showing, but it's not allowing me to get that far over. So we'll just go ahead and we'll go to, where is it, the types, and we'll go to the lands. We've got our plains and our islands, of course. We've got Mana Confluence, which is mana fixing. Seachrome Coast, of course, mana fixing. Rogue's Passage for the unblockability. Maze of Ith to stop the big things from hitting us. Mana fixing for Hallowed Fountain. Thespian Stage to make copies of anything. Another Maze of Ith, maybe. Mirrodin's Core. You can put charge counters on it, and it's mana fixing. Reliquary Tower, because I get mana screwed a lot. This helps me keep from discarding. Temple of the False God is 2 mana for 5 if you have 5 lands. Reflecting Pool is mana fixing big time. Opal Palace. This lets me get Bruna out with multiple +1/+1 counters on her if I pay 1 in a tap and add that 1 mana that I need. Sarah's Sanctum is off the hook. All these enchantments I have, tap to add white for each enchantment I control. That is beyond awesome. Glacial Fortress is just like anything else, mana fixing. Homeward Path allows me to gain control of my creatures if they're taken control of. Temple of Enlightenment is mana fixing and a little bit of a scry. Command Tower is mana fixing. Hall of the Bandit Lord is haste. And please hold on. Sorry about that. Had a phone call. So, Hall of the Bandit Lord gives haste to a creature at the cost of 3 life. That can sometimes win the game for me. Cavern of Souls, Angel. Bruna can't be countered. That's all there is to it. Azorius Chancery, ramp and fixing, and Emeria the Sky Rune. is if I can get those seven of these 10 planes out into play, and I think some of these lands count as plains islands. Yeah, just the one. With Ameria's Sky Ruin, with 7 planes in play, I can start bringing creatures back from the graveyard to the battlefield. So if somebody kills, causes me to sacrifice Avacyn, then I can go ahead and bring her back with this. So there you have it. This is my Bruna deck. As you can see, there's a couple of angels, humans, wizards, and others, but for the most part, it's all about Bruna and how she can tromp around on the board and kill people off. We'll move these out of the way. They're mana fixing. So there we go. And ramp. So this is my Bruna deck. I'm thinking about putting in a couple of the new cards that came out with Khans of Tarkir in place of some of the instant speed protection. I don't know yet. The cards that I would be looking at getting rid of would be probably like Polymorphous Chests, even though that helps me get rid of stuff. A Platinum Empyrean, because life really doesn't matter a lot with this deck, so long as you can get Bruna out and start kicking butt. I may want to pull out some cards and put in more mana ramp to get her out as fast as possible, and get more counter spells in there to protect. Chancellor of the Annex was put in there for that specific reason. The rest are pretty much all catering towards Voltron or enchantments, or getting things out faster, or taking control of stuff. So with Scuttlemet, I can make things a certain color. I can make colorless critters become color, and use Spectral Ward on them, and have my creature completely immune to it and get rid of theirs. Umbra Mystic, Nomad Mythmaker. It's really hard to go through and pull stuff out now. The Core Spirit Dancer is one of the ones that I pulled out but then brought back in because of her affinity for enchantments. The only card that I think I would probably pull out in terms of auras would probably be, where is it? It's over here, I think. The Hyena Umbra. I mean, yeah, it's Totem Armor, but Condemn is an instant. It's Totem Armor, but the main thing is I could probably put in something a little bit better. Say maybe Aura Guise, which is +2/+2 per aura on the creature. That would make Bruna completely and utterly scary. So that's it for my Bruna Light of Alabaster deck tech. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And until next time, enjoy playing games. Enjoy playing Commander. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. It helps me a lot. Please consider supporting me through Patreon. Not only will you be helping me get the equipment I need to improve my content and more outreach for my viewers, but it will also help others because I'm giving 1/2 of all funds I get from Patreon after fees and taxes to charity. So roughly 30 to 40%, I'm not sure the exact numbers yet, will be going to charity based on what you what's left over after fees and taxes. And that 30 to 40 is probably way off. I haven't done any of the math yet because well, I haven't seen the returns come in order to do any of the charitable donations I wish to get going. So this is Excalibur. Again, enjoyed playing Commander. I am out.